The other day, I was scrolling through social media while chugging my 5th can of the golden nectar and stumbled across an ad for a Kickstarter funded movie titled How to Kill Monsters. It piqued my interest, so I decided to watch the trailer, and I got to say, I was impressed from what I saw. It looked like a bloody, self-aware good time with its tongue firmly placed within its cheek. But before I jumped into pledging this week's beer money into an obscure horror movie that Facebook deemed of interest to me, I thought I should check out the team behind the project's previous foray into horror. And for the most part, I'm glad I did, as once the movie finds its feet, it really is a blood-covered fun little romp that wears its schlocky classic horror inspirations proudly on its sleeve. But before we get into what I liked and what I disliked, let's quickly cover the premise, plot, and story of the Book of Monsters.
So what have you three got planned for this evening?
Oh, just quiet night in with the girls.
Bed by midnight, okay?
Well, if the title Book of Monsters didn't give anything away to you, drum roll please. The movie is about a book of monsters. Well, for the most part anyway. The movie focuses on Sophie and her friends who decide to throw a party to celebrate Sophie's upcoming 18th birthday. Things go amok, however, as Sophie's party is gatecrashed by unwanted guests of the human and monstrous kind. Sophie and her party guests must then team up to defeat the evil that's attacking her home and all within it. So yeah, the plot isn't going to win any awards here, but it doesn't need to. It's just a device to get the central characters and plenty of cannon fodder into one isolated location so the carnage and good times and even a few heads can roll.
You got to be fucking kidding me!
So what did I like about Book of Monsters? Well, as I said earlier, after the movie's shaky beginning, it just becomes a fun, gory romp with many twistedly humorous elements that all feel like they were plucked from my all-time favourite goofy horror movies. There's buckets of blood, great creature design, and some really solid practical effects too. All of this is heightened by the fact the film is actually well shot and lit too, which, trust me, is something not many lower budget horror movies manage to achieve. The standout, however, though, was the design and art of the book and its content. Every drawing, little scribble or note, ripped page, and symbol added so much world building to a reasonably short movie. Whoever designed and drew the monsters in that book deserves so much praise. I also have to highlight the fact that the team behind the movie managed to cram not only one, but around 4 or 5 interestingly grotesque and gruesomely realised creatures into this film. You can really tell the team behind the movie put so much love and care into the most important aspects and managed to stretch the budget to give us not only some awesomely designed creatures, they also made sure all the gore was fully realised too.
Hey guys, I'm late for a party!
But as with most horror movies that have a small budget to stretch into a solid work of art, this movie still has a few flaws. Firstly, it's the tone of the movie. And yes, I get the trailer for their upcoming movie was clearly a horror comedy, but I went into Book of Monsters blind, so I wasn't really sure if it was meant to be taken seriously or not. And the first act of Book of Monsters definitely didn't set my expectations high for a goofy fun time. Yeah, sure, the acting was B-movie bad, but it didn't feel intentional, and the homophobic bullying, amongst other things, had me expecting a far different experience than what I actually got. And yeah, I know these scenes were just to set the characters up and as a device just to get the teens to a specific location, but it was pretty hard to get through in all honesty. And apart from the lead and Gary, yeah, that's the one. These two are probably the only standouts acting wise. The rest of the cast range from mixed to awful, and it really doesn't seem intentional in a look. We know this is a dumb fun horror movie in the vein of Evil Dead way, and overall it just hurts the humour of the movie as more jokes miss than land, and I'm pretty sure it's down to the delivery, not the actual script. But I'm unsure, as I was quite a few beers in by that point of the night. My only other gripes are just from a viewpoint of a guy that watches far too many horror movies. One scene, there's a specific character who needs to take a piss and he goes to the bathroom alone, instead of just whipping it out in the hallway like most of us would do if we was in a house full of creatures that wanted to dismember us. I get it was to get a character into a specific room for one of the movie's standout practical monstrosities to be unveiled, but you could have just had the character hear a help come from that room and charged in as he was a bit of a hero anyway. And lastly, there's a specific monster in the book that is described as having no real weakness, but is kinda easily dispatched in a pretty common killing method. Oh, and the actors are just far too old to be playing the young characters in the movie. That's just me nitpicking, and that's a common occurrence in most horror movies, you know.
What have you three got planned for this evening?
Oh, you know, just quiet night in with the girls.
Bed by midnight, okay?
So overall, while there are some flaws, they are easily overlooked and can be ignored in favour of just relishing in the awesomely creative creatures, over-the-top carnage, and plentiful bloodshed. Once this movie gets going, it's a really solid monster movie and a damn good time that will have you itching for more. And that's why I cannot wait for the team to release their next entry, How to Kill Monsters. If you're a fan of horror movies like this, then go check out the Kickstarter page for the movie. And if you've got a bit of spare cash laying around, why not pledge to help the creators make their dreams a reality? If you're a fan of movies like Evil Dead or even Feast, then give this one a go and let me know what you thought down in the comments below. And as always, until next time, you guys stay tipsy.